Meanwhile, in stately Wayne Manor...
Greetings, citizens of Gotham. Another Build the 1966 Batmobile episode is coming at you today on brickscalestudio. Welcome back to brickscalestudio. My name is Jeff. Thank you so much for joining me. So we are back on the 1966 Batmobile. So last week was kind of chill. This week, a little more to do, but still chill. We add some details to the firewall that we got in last week's episode, which we didn't do anything with then. We're going to actually be doing something with it this week. And then we just keep plugging along on the Lego side. So let's get into the build, and we will talk about it after.
And in the Batcave, deep below stately Wayne Manor...
We are in issue 85. There's the parts pack for 85. All right, let's see what we've got here. We have the battery bracket, vent plugs, terminals, starter motor bracket, starter motor rear, and a cable. All right, so the first thing we're doing is taking the battery bracket and the battery, and we are installing it right there with two TP screws. These are some flange screws here. There's two. All right, let's see here. So we will be installing the terminals, and they have a little D-shaped channel here so they can only go on one way. So let's see. This one is going on like so. And this one, I believe, yeah, it's just going on. Oh my gosh, if I could get this the right way. All right. So this one is just going on like so. That was a way tighter fit than this side, but they're both fitting in. Now, of course, we have more fun little parts that we need to push in. All right, these are vent plugs, and they're going to go along the back here. So be careful not to over-tighten these screws down here. I noticed that this was like dipping, so it was bending the plastic. Okay, so let's get these vent plugs installed. Okay, we got one. All right, there we go. All right, now we're going to bring our firewall back, turn it over, just move these out of the way, and let's see. Looks like that is going in just like so, again with those TP screws. All right, so that is on. Now we want to take the fuse box assembly that we had in the last episode, and we want to take this. So yeah, this is going to go in like so. And there's a D-shaped connector, so it can only go in one way. So that is on like so. All right, so now we're taking our starter motor. We're attaching this cable to this little peg here, and then we are pushing. All right, that end fits on there very snugly. And then this So this is sitting right here, like so, and that's very tight. Now we want to turn this over so that the cables are pointing toward the battery, and this is going to sit right on here, like so, and TP screws again. All right. So yeah, it's kind of an odd fit, but okay. We want to take this longer cable and we want to attach it to this terminal right here. All right, we got that. That is it for issue 85. Bring in issue 86. Oh, we got some cables, we got some more stuff here. So again, we're just going to be working on this firewall piece. Here are the parts for 86. All right, here are the parts. We have the power steering reservoir, the power steering gear, a hose connector, another hose, and then we have parts for the radiator. So just if you're curious, this is a 40 millimeter hose, this is a 110 millimeter hose, and this is a 350 millimeter hose. So hopefully we won't have to cut them. Remember the cutting drama we had like in one of the first episodes. Okay, so the first thing we're doing is we're taking the power steering reservoir and we are taking this piece. So again, there is a D-shaped hole here, so it can only go on one way. So that goes on like so. And then we're taking this piece, also with a D-shaped connector, and it is going like this on the end. And again, that is both of those are tight fits, they're not going anywhere. So we want the short hose to go on this peg, and then we want the 110 millimeter hose to go on this peg, like so. And then we're going to bring back our firewall. And then there is a hole and a notch, so that will help you get that lined up. And that is going on just like so. Yep. So basically, this piece is facing the battery. So yeah, that's going on just like that, and we're putting that in with an AP screw. There we go. We got that in. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our two radiator pieces, and they have notches, or little pegs at the top. So we want those on the top. So are these right and left? Apparently so. All right, so that is going to go on just like that, and we're putting those in with AP screws from the other side. All right, perfect. We do need to cut this longer hose, so let's get that out. Okay, so let me grab my ruler here. All right, so the first one we need is 95 millimeters, which, as we know, we can convert millimeters to centimeters. So 95 millimeters is 9.5 centimeters. So that's 9.5 centimeters. Now we need 7.5. Okay. And then we need 7. And then hopefully this will be long enough to do 10. Oh yes, with a little extra. All right, so we have the little extra piece. Let me pop that over there. So we have 100, 70, 95, and 75 millimeter. So we're going to bring back our firewall here. So the 100 millimeter is going on this peg here. And the 70 is going on this peg here. Those seem to be fairly tight, so I'm not going to glue them, but if they start coming out, I will glue them. So the 75 is going here. Again, that seems pretty tight, and then the 95 is going here. All right, so that is it for issue 86. So let's move to the Lego side. All right, here we are on the Lego side. So last episode, we finished the trunk lid. We got that installed, and then we just added some stuff up here, the compass and the little bat scope detector antenna thing. So today we are doing steps 269 to 275. All right, that is it through 275. So we put in the detectoscope, and then we also got these molding pieces. I'm sure the windows are going to fit over here. And then we got part of the roll bar started. So that is it for the Lego side. All right, so to recap this episode, so we've been working on the scale model side. We've been working on this firewall. So we got the two little radiator pieces. We got the battery and all that in. We got some cables. So we're good there. And then over on the Lego side, we installed the detectoscope. We got some of the moldings for the windows, and we got to start on the roll bar. So that will do it for episode 43. That concludes the build portion of the video. So before we kind of talk about it, let's get into the summary really quick. For the scale model, we did 7 steps and used 22 parts. On the Lego side, 12 steps and 41 parts. Total to date, 385 steps and 498 parts on the scale model side, and 625 steps and 1,564 parts on the Lego side. All right, so like I said, more than we did last week, but still not a crazy amount, but we do add a bunch of details to that firewall, and spoiler alert, next week we're going to be installing that, and we will also be doing some other things around the engine compartment with some cables and that type of thing, so definitely stay tuned for that. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and hit it now. It's totally free, doesn't cost you anything. And when we hit some subscriber milestones, we will give away some free Lego. And if you win, that is free also. I will pay to have it shipped to you, so you don't even have to worry about that. And we've got some exciting content coming up. We are continuing with the Batmobile and the Titanic, plus we're going to have some Lego reviews, and we're starting a new build series on Tuesdays pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. And until we see each other again, happy building, take care, be kind to each other, and I'll see you soon.